birthday contest here. Woohoo! I'm going to share with you a quick recipe on how I make my vegetable loaded broth. So this is something that I really encourage everyone to try, is to eat broth with your with lots of vegetables. It's a great way to add more vegetables to your diet. It's nourishing for your soul, and if it is a French style stock or bone broth, it's going to be really nourishing to your gut too. Cooked vegetables are very welcomed in a body that is healing. So if you're doing, especially any kind of healing your gut, nourishing yourself with cooked vegetables, your body just celebrates that a lot more than a bunch of raw vegetables that they have to do a lot of work with. So that's what I was advised on my journey with my doctor, and I'm a big believer in cooked vegetables. And then you'll always hear me say this, but a variety. So I am going to, let's just start. I've got a pot here and I've warmed it up. I'm going to add a little bit of fat. You could use butter, but I'm just going to use, I have some fat from making the bone broth, so I'm going to put that right into the pot. And then I'm going to add some fennel seed. This is just one way, and I'll try to do different versions for you. But fennel seed, cooking in a little fat, and then I'll add some garlic. So these broths are quick to make. I try to have them done in under 10 minutes. I always have a compost bowl right here next to my cutting board. But you guys know that, right? You know my setup. Totally works for me. Makes cooking easy. So I'm just gonna add some garlic. Boom, I got my bench scraper right here. Pick that up. I'll add the garlic into my now hot pan. Delicious. So I just like to always start off with a little fat, some spice, and some aromatics. It's simple, you know. You can add ginger. I've got ginger sitting right here in front of me. Why don't I add some of that? And today, for fun, I'll do really thin little slices of ginger. So this is fresh ginger. I always have ginger sitting out with the garlic and the onions. And so I'm going to do some thin little slices of ginger. So that's all the spices need to get going. It's just a little blast of heat with some fat. Spices are oil soluble, they're not water soluble. So that's why I always do this step. Now I'm going to add some turmeric. I buy turmeric in bulk and I keep it stored in a glass jar. And I do sneak it, I used to take a lot of turmeric supplements. I'll just set this over here. And I don't really do that anymore because I'm not in any kind of a chronic inflammatory state where I need to be taking a lot of turmeric. However, I do like spices in my diet as a variety, thinking them also as varied and diverse diet. So I do sneak turmeric into things like meatballs, into hummus, into broths, no problem. I love it, I use it a lot. But I use a lot of spices. I try not to do the same thing over and over and over. I think that's where, the patterns happen, unhealthy patterns. So now we just have this pot right here, and it's got ginger, garlic, turmeric, and fennel seed. So now I just, I kind of go through the fridge, and I'm like, what do I want to put in here today? And the freezer. Because if you're working with me, we're always talking about having some good organic produce also in the freezer. So shallots are going in. I got this beautiful daikon in my CSA. So I'm going to add some daikon. And I think what I want to do with that is mandolin it. Absolutely. So let's just mandolin just a few pieces. Daikon's pretty strong. This is just broth for one. I'm alone here today. This is broth for one. I'm going to add some leek. So just a little bit of fresh leek in here. Use the rest for something else later. And then I have some broccoli. I have some organic broccoli from the CSA. And I will use part of the stem here. Just cut that in matchsticks. So now, let's see, anything else? I always kind of just look around. Like I do keep a lot of root vegetables down below, but I think this will be good today. So I've got broccoli, daikon, shallots, and leeks. And then here I have homemade bone broth. So let's just call it French stock because it's just really what it is. Oh, I forgot I have these greens too. These are turnip greens. And I made pickled turnips the other day and I saved the greens, so I'll put some of those in there. The stems are great too. I'll just put some of those stems. So I'm gonna add my homemade broth. I cooked this for at least 18 hours. It's gelatin-ish now. It's loaded with the amino acids that my body really needs to nourish. Okay, so I'll add just enough to cover the vegetables. Now I'll put this on high and this will just cook till the vegetables are done. I'm cooking on induction, so that really only takes about 5 to 6 minutes. Then lunch is ready. The last finishing step that I do for the broth is I add a splash of vinegar or lime juice or lemon juice depending on what it is. So today I'll just add a splash of apple cider vinegar. That's going to go really well just with this simple kind of recipe here. Other variations would be to add coconut milk and maybe some Thai curry paste, red curry paste. I make also a Mexican version where I'll add some canned tomatoes, chipotles, which are smoked jalapenos and adobo sauce, and then I'll add lime juice and maybe some cumin, so I'll do like a total Mexican version, and I'll, sometimes I have dried chilies, I'll add those in too, and garnish it with avocado. But so just think of it like regionally, how can you connect it? It could be like a French onion soup. You can have a Thai version. I just have this kind of simple, just nourishing, simple base now, but there's so many versions that you can do. So have fun cooking, smile while you cook. I'll see you next time.